Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Talk about stepping up. Bang! Bang!
It's time to level up your game. Introducing the all-new ESPN app. All of ESPN, all in one place. Your home for the most live sports and the best championship moments.
The electricity is palpable.
Step up your game with no annual contract required. It's the ultimate fan experience. Level up for more on the ESPN app or at stream.espn.com. Sign up now.
I asked her that, Your Honor, and the response I got back when I asked her to sew these, and I'll never forget it for the rest of my life, quote, "That's the way we install our pulleys. Maybe you should have had your awnings sewn by somebody else."
This is the plaintiff, Sean Fitzgerald. He says he hired the defendants to build custom awnings for his house, and it seems they got in a little over their heads because the product they delivered was terrible. That's right, the awning couldn't even be attached to his house properly. The cops were called out, and now they're embroiled in one big legal mess, and he needs the judge's help getting his $900 deposit returned. These are the defendants, Rosa and Liam Davis. Rosa says the awning they delivered to the plaintiff was perfect, and the plaintiff was happy with everything except for paying the balance. She took the awning back, told him she'd re-deliver it when he paid off, and now the guy is suing them? Come on. He's playing games, and they can't wait to see the look on his face when the judge rules in their favor and forces him to pay what he owes. They're accused of not being shady. The defendants have filed a countersuit for $1,720. The balance due.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated and come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, Sean Fitzgerald, you are suing Awnings, represented here by Rosa and Liam Davis, for $900 that you say you want returned to you, $650 the deposit that you paid them, plus $250 that you feel you've had to pay an electricity bill since you don't have awnings. You, on the other hand, have a counterclaim against him for the additional cost of the job plus time that you've had to waste trying to litigate this and get yourself paid. Tell me what's going on.
I have a house in Highlands, New Jersey, and my awnings needed to be replaced, and called them up and asked them to come over and discuss replacing, resewing my awnings, okay? A gentleman named Liam came over and discussed what the cost would be, and I think you have this as the contract.
Yeah, may I see that? May I see your original?
And basically, they were to resew my awnings, and okay.
Okay, and what happens?
On the 5th of June, I called and said, are they going to be brought over? And she said that they were running late and, they had problems. And I said, okay, could it be brought on Monday then? And she said, yes, I'll be there 9 o'clock Monday morning. Okay. So I said, okay, fine. So it's an extension of a couple days, okay? All right?
Right.
From that date on the contract, okay?
At whose request?
I called them and they said they couldn't make it. They couldn't make it. They said they were too busy, okay?
Okay. And when they come to your house to install the awnings, what goes wrong?
I inspect the awnings, and the sewing is very nice. It's proper. But the hinges, there's 18 hinges on the awnings, okay? And 6 of them are hanging 2 inches away from the frame.
Do you have a picture of what you're talking about?
I have the old awning to show you.
Okay.
So this pulley has to be installed. There's a bar that's put through here, and this bar is attached to the house, which holds the awning up.
Right.
So the pulley has to be attached firmly to the bar, all right? And when they attach it, they put like 8 or 10 strings around. 6 of the pulleys were hanging 2 to 3 inches down by 2 threads.
What's the purpose of the pulley?
The pulley is used when you know a storm is coming and your awnings can be damaged. You use the ropes to pull up your awning up against the house to protect them from the wind until the storm goes by.
So you don't have ripped awnings.
Exactly.
Right.
That's
okay,
the purpose.
Go on.
So I explained to her that these 6 pulleys were not attached properly. And then I think, you know, if I put a rope through there, the 2 strings would just pull right off. And I said, it's impossible. I cannot install
Wait,
these.
but who are you to say they're not attached properly? How do you know how close or how far they can be to do the job?
Because 2 threads against a 1/4-inch rope, which goes through the pulleys, will...
Can you come closer to me?
Okay. Where do you want inside? Go ahead.
Right there. All right. So are these the threads?
Yes.
That's what you're talking
That's
about
what
when
I'm
you
talking
say
about.
threads.
And that's 8 or 10 of them, and this is 8 years old.
Okay, but what's the big deal? All you got to do is tie it. You're just talking about something that's just a little knot.
Exactly.
Well, then
That's what
why
I
did?
asked her.
But I
Why-
understand.
what would
You're
you-
brand new. Well, why did this become such a big deal? I don't
Because
understand.
they can't be installed with just 2 threads. You have to have 8.
When you say threads, you are literally talking about a piece of string this big,
Right.
and then you can either have 5 of them, 10 of them, 1 of them.
And I
but
had
this
2.
does not appear to be a big deal. Like, this is something that can be remedied in 2 seconds. So
That's
why did
what-
it end up bringing everything to pot, and you people end up in front of me on a several $1,000 lawsuit?
I asked her that, Your Honor, and the response I got back when I asked her to sew these, and I'll never forget it for the rest of my life, quote, "That's the way we install our pulleys. Maybe you should have had your awnings sewn by somebody else."
Okay.
Word for word.
But something had to happen before people got that angry to give you that response. What was it that happened before? Okay, let's find out. Go ahead and go over there. Who's the one dealing with them on the day of installation?
I was.
What happened?
Okay, I went there. I called him to tell him I was delivering. First, we had a date that we're supposed to deliver. He called a few days. I have on the records, on my phone record. He called a few days before to say that he was going away, so he wouldn't be available to get his awnings that day. So I said, okay.
So according to you, he's the one who
He
calls
called us.
and says, I won't be here that
Yeah,
day.
he said he will be away to bring it on Monday. And I got there. He went and checked one by one. He's like, these are great. They cut perfectly. They're so perfectly. I love them. So he started assembling. We usually just drop the awnings and we get paid. They check it and we get paid. But he wanted to put all his frames.
Why would you just drop the awnings?
Because what happened is that he wanted to save money and we really wanted to help him. So he said, can I install it myself? And I said, all right, that's fine. You want to save some money, you install it yourself. So that was without installation. And then after he finished installing, like putting the frames together, I told him, here's the bill. And he started looking for excuses. He couldn't find anything because he really liked it. He said he liked everything. So then he
What do you mean
looked
he
at these-
started looking for excuses?
because he said, I can't pay you that. My wife is very upset. You guys are very late. She had to leave the house, and you need to give me a discount. So he actually
A discount for what?
demanded because he said we were late. And then he started looking for stuff, and then he said, "Oh, this thread is not attached well." I felt like in 5 years,
referring to the
threads.
Referring to the threads that hold the
This
pulleys
one.
up?
Yes, and we gave him new pulleys. He was very happy for that because his pulleys were very old. So we said to him, we gave you these at no cost, free. And then he said, oh, thank you, you didn't have to do that. And then he said, but these pulleys are not attached very strong. I say, we are the experts. This is the way we attach it. And if you're worried about that, we can bring you and give you a new ones. And he said, no, I can buy it myself. You need to give me a discount. So he didn't want to pay the full balance. And what he told me, it's funny, what he said to me is that you take this or just take your awnings. Since they were already assembled, I was already there. I lost 2 hours of my day. And he thought I would say, just give me whatever you have, I'll take it. I said, no, you know what, I'll take my awnings. So I started taking my things because I said, I'm going to take my stuff. I did all the sewing, I did all the work. You're not going to do this to me. So I started taking the stuff. And I was so late for my other appointment. and there were a couple of big awnings that I couldn't take the metal on my own because I was helping also assembly. So I threw it on my truck. He called the cops on me saying that I was stealing his property. So the cops came.
You threw you couldn't take it off, so you took his metal?
No, I was taking some stuff. There was one part on top of the awning.
No, where's he? Who is he to you?
This is my husband.
Okay,
and also
where are you when all this is going on?
I'm at home.
Doing what?
He was
Working.
Okay. Like, didn't you call him and tell him we have a problem,
did.
Houston?
Well, what happened is that I was so aggravated for what he did. He really wanted to take advantage of my business and me. He even called me Mexican.
Okay, well, not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm not sure what that means, but what do you mean?
Mexican.
No. I'm Mexican from Peru. I don't have problems with that.
Okay.
But the way that he called it was very
What do you mean?
derogatory.
What do you mean when you say that?
I was on the phone with him, and he just started saying how he doesn't like Rosa, and she's not doing this, and she's not doing that. And, he doesn't know if she's just a Mexican, but I need to hire more Mexicans to do my work when I'm not around, and I should just run crews and... it was just like...
You need to hire more Mexicans to do your work when you're not around, and I don't know if Rosa's Mexican?
Yeah, he said, I don't know if Rosa's a Mexican or what she is,
And what did you say?
I'm not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Why don't you tell him she's my wife?
He knows that she's my wife. He knows it's a family business.
What exactly happened there?
First of all, Your Honor.
Did you say... No. I want to know exactly your answer to what was just said.
The answer is Rosa had never called me for 3 days on the phone.
Did you ever say something about you need to hire more Mexicans? I'm just curious.
Never said that.
Never said that?
That's none of my business how they run their business.
Okay. So you're taking the stuff off. He calls the cops over the bars.
Yeah.
And what happens?
And then I explained to the cop what was happening. I said, I can't take this pole because we tied it very tight to the awning. And he said to him, okay, let me talk to him. I said, he can come, he knows where I'm at, he can come and pick it up. I really need to go somewhere else. And the cop said, it's okay, that's fine, you can take it. And then he went to, no, but listen to this, he went to talk to him. And he said, I can take it, just tell her just a couple of minutes. And I was so mad, I said, you know what, yeah, just take your time, take it. So he took his stuff, I left. He was telling the cops they are late for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and I shouldn't be paying. Yeah, he said to the cops that he didn't have a contract, and then he went inside for a contract, and the cop was like, you just say you don't have anything.
What I don't understand is if you're so mad that they're late, why don't you just tell them, forget it, we're done beforehand? Why would you inspect the stuff and then just try to schmooze your way into a discount? Like, you're either you want them or you don't at that point. And if they're a week and a day late, and that to you is a deal breaker, which that would, I'm not sure it is, but to you it's a deal breaker, why are you letting them come to your house at all? Why are you inspecting it, looking at it, and saying this is great work, but you know what? You're going to have to give it. What if she doesn't want to give you a discount? Then where are we? I'll tell you where we are. Right. We're here. This is where we are. This is what happens to people who kind of shoot the odds to see how they're going to be able to, maybe they should get a better price now. And look where you are now. Now you have no soup. Right? Someone took the awnings away because she wasn't going to let you take advantage of her, and then you have no discount, and now you have no deposit. Now you're trying to get your deposit back, and they're trying to get paid fully for the job because they did the job. So you're in the unenvious position of having to prove to me that job has such a defect that I'm going to find them in breach as opposed to you in breach.
I can prove it to you.
Okay, and now here's where your expertise comes into play. Show me, take all of those awnings, give them to my bailiff, and if you would just bring him all the awnings and tell me which are the offending pulleys.
Well, Your Honor, it's simple. If you're hanging down 3 inches... I
don't want to hear you blab your mouth anymore. I want you to show me, because I've got to look at it with my eyeballs and decide if you are in a position to judge these as defective and reject the merchandise and get your money back. That's where we are.
Okay. You have my other one?
Right behind you.
Okay. Can I come up, Your Honor?
Here's what I prefer. I prefer you look at them first and then come up.
Okay.
Because you're just talking to win as opposed to inspecting them if you don't look at them first.
Okay.
All right, Your Honor, I have a chance to speak after he speaks.
Now's a good time.
Okay. I mean, regarding the whole pulley thing, the pulleys he had were unusable, so I took it upon myself, not,
They look exactly the same as your pulleys are newer, but what's the difference in the pulley?
Well,
the pulley's going to last 100 years. It's going to outlast us all.
Yeah, but they get stuck and they don't move. It doesn't matter.
I know the one I touched.
They don't cost a lot of money. It's a minuscule thing. It's not a big deal. Regarding the threads, doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
we're talking about, just so that everybody's clear, here's a pulley. The pulley is literally, you tie a knot with some threads to hold it onto the thing.
And that twine
and
is...
he's saying that his twine's stronger than your twine, and that the twine you used was lame and not enough of.
Yeah, we use very, very strong tensile strength, wax, twine that,
Is that the one you always use?
Yeah.
You've been in business how long?
5 years.
How many times have you put pulleys on these things?
A lot of.
Thousands.
Is it common?
Yeah. But, the twine's extra strong, so even if you have 2, if you have 8, it's
Okay,
fine.
well, now, so you got a customer who you think is being unreasonable and is asking for stronger twine.
Yeah.
It would take, 20 seconds to maybe use stronger twine?
Yeah, we offered-
So why wasn't the problem solved?
We offered him
we
to solve
offered
it.
it.
He rejected that offer.
He
What
said
did
he
he
wanted
say?
to buy it himself
He'll
when
take care
that
of it because he knows everything
Okay.
about awnings.
But he insists that you give him a
Yeah,
discount.
he insists.
He demanded. He didn't
already
even
had a
ask.
discount. We gave him a discount on the first
But
day.
he insisted on an additional
Yes,
discount.
yes.
So now you're suing him for, explain your counterclaim. You have $295 additional cost of job. What does that mean?
That's the cost of materials plus labor.
So the cost of the job to you is $650 plus $295?
Right.
So what you make is $350 on this job?
Yeah, it was just
it's
a
not
cover.
a good job.
It wasn't
No,
installed.
and it turns out no. Okay. So then you're asking for $150, 2 hours lost time for delivery. What does that mean?
I was there for 2 hours after he finished assembling every awning.
$75 for storage of awnings for 3 months.
Yeah, we sent him a letter. We told him.
And $1,200 for loss of time from work. What does that mean?
We both are here today. And we're going to be.
Okay. Well,
We're
you make good money when you come to court. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, we make a lot more than that with our business.
Okay.
We're just trying to stop the bleeding, Your Honor.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So do you think most people who come in and do work on your home, do they have pride in their work, or they just want to get the job done and go home?
I think they have pride in their work.
You do. They want it to be good.
Yes.
You buy that?
I think so. I mean, I feel like they want to be good. They really try and show what they can do, and I think they like to have pride in their work. I don't know.
Anybody disagree?
Yeah. They don't care what they're doing. They just want to get the job done.
Have a beer.
Yeah.
Have a beer going inside the courtroom.
We're not asking for their balance because I don't.
Because that would be less than what you're asking for.
Right.
But the balance would make sense because then you would be whole.
Yeah.
You would be, now you can't, can you reuse that or no? The new ones?
No,
How many
No.
awnings did you make for him?
There were 7.
7 or 8.
7 or 8?
I'm not.
Can you, are those a standard size or you'd have to
No.
find somebody who exactly wants that?
It's a rare canvas. That's the only order of that canvas we've ever had, that color.
I cannot
They're-
believe we got here over
they're
like
clustered.
everybody saying quienes mas macho, you thinking, well, you can insist on a discount, and her saying, I'll be damned if you're going to take advantage of me. This is crazy. You have 8 brand new awnings with a tiny, if there's a problem, which you're not in a position to see, first listen, then talk. If there's a problem, and you are not an awnings expert, the experts are telling me that this is tensile, this is the rope they always use, it's fine. You can't prove that rope is defective, and yet you're insisting, I'll fix it myself, but I want a discount, give me more of a discount. Sometimes it's not really up to you to be able to bully somebody into a further discount. And so, no one can blame me for trying, but then once I could, but other people might not blame me for trying, and then once you try and it doesn't work, how do you not just say, okay, all right, let me have my awnings? How do you let it get to this stage?
I question that myself too, because I just asked them.
Because I can't tell you, if all you needed was a couple pieces of rope this big, then why don't you just do it or get them to do it? Why would you turn around and take a $1,500 purchase of hand-sewn awnings in Sombrella fabric over rope? It's crazy. You know what it was? It's you playing quienes mas macho out there to see about your discount.
Because it wasn't about the discount, Your
What was it
Honor.
about?
3 things. The pulleys, and I can show you how the pulleys are not installed properly. There are only 2 strings. The old ones have 8. Okay. There are no ropes. She threw the ropes on the porch here, installed them yourself, and they weren't delivered on time. That was
weren't delivered on time could not be more disingenuous when you had an appointment with them and you were waiting for them and you stood there to inspect them. So to suggest that you are rejecting them because they are late is a complete and total fabrication, because you wouldn't have met them. You would have rejected them, told them, don't bother coming to my house. They're too late for me to take. They weren't too late for you to take because the proof is in the fact that you were taking them. This is something that you're coming up with later.
Your Honor?
This is crazy.
What
do you think it really was? Really that he just wanted to chisel you down a little bit on the price?
He just,
He thought he could intimidate us.
Yeah, but I mean, it's even crazy for somebody who's trying to chisel you down on the price. Because if you walk away, once you start walking away, I expect, all right.
Okay,
Why didn't that happen, do you
What
think?
happened is that I guess he got mad that I wouldn't say, yes, I'll take whatever you gave me. And then he just didn't want to, I didn't want to take his money and just run with whatever he wanted to give me. I just thought he was taking
Did he ever,
advantage.
just out of curiosity, did he ever suggest, I think you should give me a $5 discount, a $10 discount?
Oh, no, he demanded, and he was very unreasonable,
Demanded what?
too.
What discount?
He said, I'm going to give you this much.
How
Otherwise, I think it was 100 less of what he's supposed to give us. So I said,
We're
no.
only making 300, so I mean,
Say it again?
Yeah.
we're only making 300 on this
Yeah.
little job.
Right.
That's not fair.
Yeah, I just think it wasn't fair. So I said, no.
Okay. Based on what I have heard, I find that it is the plaintiff who breached the contract and not the defendants. The measure of damages, therefore, on your claim against them, 0. And on your counterclaim against him, I'm not going to measure the damages the way you're measuring them. I'm going to measure the damages as you should be getting the benefit of your bargain, which means that I'm going to force him to pay for the rest of this contract. And that would be an additional $650. You should be able to get what you were supposed to get had he accepted the delivery the way he was supposed to deliver it. So my verdict is for the defendants in the amount of $650. There's no like dollar figure for just aggravation. Otherwise, I'd be a very rich woman. That's my judgment.
Well, here comes the plaintiff with some of his awnings. What's your reaction to losing this case the way you did?
The awnings were incomplete, so I asked them to complete the awnings, and they said no.
Well, it really sounds like you tried to get them to lower the price until you just broke the camel's back.
That wasn't the case. I said to them, if they fixed the awnings, that I would pay for them.
Full price?
Full price.
Where'd they come up with that you're a racist stuff?
I have no idea.
Right.
It's their business.
You didn't seem too upset by that charge.
Because it's not true.
All right, head right down this way. We think that's why he would be upset about it. What's your feeling about this?
I think he got what he deserved. He got exposed. It was about time. We heard so much about him. And I support small businesses. This is my business partner, Chris. We promoted small businesses, and we didn't like he was trying to take advantage.
If you say that he was insulting toward your wife, how come you didn't get more upset at this man?
I'm sorry.
She wants to know too.
I just trying to keep him from. He's a little different, so I was just trying to.
You mad at him for not getting more upset?
I am very mad at him.
Oh, you're in trouble.
Yes.
She's my girl.
Harvey?
You know, translation of this countersuit, the defendants only get what they would have gotten had the plaintiff honored the contract. They are not entitled to a windfall. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Empower. Jen has ordered a decadent seafood tower, king crab legs, lobster tails, and a waterfall of caviar. Pricey? You bet. But Jen worked with Empower on her savings and investment strategy and planned for splurges like these. She got good at money, so she can be a little bad. Ooh, champagne. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Past performance is not indicative of future returns. Investing involves risk. You may lose money. Advisory services are provided for a fee by Empower Advisory Group, LLC, EAG, a registered investment advisor with the Securities and Exchange Commission. OMG, those shrimps are really jumbo.
You open the Walmart app and boom! The Reebok and Hanes styles that keep your kiddos on their A game delivered in as fast as an hour. That's right, those comfy Hanes Performance Crew socks they love in the app. And the coolest shirts, shorts, hoodies, and leggings from Reebok? Yep, Walmart's got them. They'll feel so focused in their new gear they won't even notice you freaking out on the sidelines. Shop Reebok and Hanes in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new. Subject to availability, fees, and restrictions apply.
This is the plaintiff, Jessica Gomez. She says she drove the defendant home after a huge snowstorm, and he directed her to take a road which wasn't plowed. They ended up getting stuck in the snow, and a nice guy with a truck and rope offered to pull them out. She was worried, though, about the car being damaged, but the defendant told her he needed to get home and would split any damages if they occurred. Sure enough, her bumper was busted, her windshield cracked, and now the louse won't pay up. She's suing for $543.62, half the amount of the damage her car sustained. This is the defendant, Christopher. He says he did initially agree to pay half the damages to the plaintiff's car because he felt bad. But the woman's trying to snooker him, and he's not the type to be taken advantage of. The estimate to fix her car went from $1,400 to $2,000, and her car isn't even worth that. Then he finds out she sold the car at auction and is now still trying to collect money for repairs to a car she doesn't even own anymore. Some people. He's accused of being flaky.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff drove the defendant home in the middle of a huge snowstorm, gave her bum directions, and her car got damaged. But the defendant agreed to pay for some of the damage, and now she got ridiculously greedy. It's the case of, you've got some big snowballs, lady.
Douglas. Okay, Jessica Gomez?
Yes.
You are suing Christopher, you've asked us not to mention your last name, your friend or former friend, for $543.62, half the balance of some damages that occurred to a car that, according to you, he agreed to pay for.
Yes.
Tell me what happened.
The large snowstorm that happened on February 9th, that was a Friday night into Saturday of this year, 2013. The morning of February 11th, he called me and said he hadn't been able to get his cars out, hadn't dug them out, and needed a ride to work. He was my friend, my coworker, so I said, sure, no problem. Went to work, no problem, did what we had to do. When we were coming home, he directed me to a street that once I turned on, realized had not been plowed all the way through. My car got stuck, so we tried a whole bunch of times to get it out, and it was unsuccessful. I'd say we were there about approximately 45 minutes. The entire time, his wife was calling him saying, you need to get home, I have to get to work, I have my car dug out, you gotta get home for the kids. After 45 minutes...
How old are the kids?
10 and 6.
After about 45 minutes, a guy that came in a big truck with a rope and chain, he was just passing by, said, I see you're stuck, I work for AAA, I've been helping people out all day, just trying to do my part, I can pull you out, but I might do some damage, and I don't want to be held responsible for that. Chris told me he had to get home, that he would pay for half of it, whatever happened, he had to get home for his kids because his wife had to get to work.
So before the guy hooks up, Chris tells you, if anything goes wrong, I'll pay for half of it?
Yes.
Okay, is that accurate?
No.
Go on.
The AAA guy, he hooked up the truck and to my bumper, and he pulled the car. And when he pulled the car, he pulled us off towards the right and into a snowbank, and the windshield immediately cracked. He then pulled it out. He pulled us to a street that was plowed, and we were safe to get out. He left. He said, you know, I've done my job. Goodbye.
Did you pay him?
I gave him a $10 tip just to as.
Were you
thank
supposed to pay him?
No.
He was doing it as a favor.
He was doing it as a good gesture to help people out, and I thanked him by giving him $10. Chris said that I'm.
Did you
close
know
to
there was
home.
damage at that point?
Not at that point. Not till I got it home.
Okay.
Chris said, I'm a few blocks from home, I'm just gonna walk. I'm gonna get home. So
Why didn't he just do that before then? Why would he offer to pay for half of your car if he's a few blocks from home? He could just, you know.
I'm not sure, but he did walk home. Well, I was driving the car back to my home, and it was feeling strange. It just didn't feel the same when I was driving it. When I got home and got it parked in the parking lot, I saw that the bumper was pulled, coming apart off of the car. It was cracked. There was a piece of the wheel well that was like rubbing against the tire. So I spoke to Chris that evening, and I told him about what was going on with the car. And
Did she call you that evening and tell you?
She did.
And what'd she say?
Basically that she thinks that there was front end damage to the car, and basically that she's not sure. She's going to have to get an estimate to see if there's any damage. Or
Yeah, but did she say, and I want you to pay for it?
I don't recall that she said that, but she alluded to the fact that she actually never alluded to the fact that she
Did she say, I need you to pay half like you promised?
No, because I never agreed to that initially.
So did she say, I want you to pay half because I think it's right?
Not then, no.
At some point in time, though, for whatever reason, you decide that you're going to pay for half of it, right?
I have the written contract.
Hold on a second. At some point in time, you decide that you're going to pay for half of it.
She decided that. She initially asked me
You agreed.
I did agree.
Why?
I signed. I felt bad about the situation. She brought me home. I felt bad. But then when I found out later on that she was asking me for more money.
What did you find out that made you angry?
So he agrees to pay for half, right at the scene, and then all of a sudden he changes his mind. Is he allowed to change his mind?
You know, I think he is allowed to change his mind. It's only a verbal agreement. It's not really a written contract, so I don't think he's bound by that.
You buy that, everybody?
I think that he should stick by his word. It's really messed up if you're just gonna say that you're gonna help pay. And
but he's thinking about it, and he's saying, I didn't really wasn't responsible for this.
I think he's entitled to change his mind. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
I found out that there was more damage, and that she was asking me for more money.
Right.
And that she wanted more money from me. I just felt like I was being taken. You know, like I understand, you know, your
But that happens sometimes when you take a car in for repair, all of a sudden they tell you that it's more.
Okay.
Right.
But I really didn't feel like the amount of money that she had asked me to pay for, the half of the damages, I shouldn't have signed the contract for.
Right, you change your mind.
Mm-hmm.
But when you paid how many payments?
Made 2 payments.
Okay. And may I see what he signed?
Sure.
And then what do you do when he signs this?
I gave him a copy. He gave me a check for $100 that same day that he signed the contract. Then I was able to get the car in for April 8th was the first available appointment that the body shop had. Like I said, they took the bumper completely off and saw there was frame damage, and the bill went up. I have that bill paid in full in cash. On April 14th, I picked up the car on April 11th. On April 14th, we were coming home from a birthday party at a petting zoo, and a guy ran a stop sign and T-boned the car and totaled the car.
After you had just paid to have it
After I
fixed?
just paid the $2,000 cash.
Oh my
It
gosh.
was like
Show
4
me
days
proof
later.
that you paid the $2,000. Now you find out about this and you think she's just trying to pocket the money. But why don't you just meet with your former coworker and have her show you the proof that she paid the thing?
Well, she gave me a copy of it.
Did you call them to confirm that she had paid it?
I did not call them to confirm that.
So what evidence do you have that she didn't pay it? So in other words, she's out the money. That you and she had them do the work based on your promise that she's only going to have to come up with half of it. She goes and gets the car fixed. Now I'm gonna get off this bench. I'm gonna confirm that this was paid because anybody can buy a paid stamp. So I'm gonna confirm that this little baby was paid. But if this baby was in fact paid, then
Right.
yes, she relied on that promise, and you need to pay the rest of the amount. So I don't want the parties to leave until I am able to make that contact and confirm that. But assuming that, in fact, I confirm that the amount was paid, I find in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of the $543.62 that she's out that was contractually obligated by you to pay. All right, that is my verdict.
Thank you.
Well, here he is. He'll be paying half. Doesn't that make you feel good?
Not really.
Why not?
Well, I just feel like it wasn't fair. So basically, that's it.
Well, what part's not fair about paying half of the damage when she gave you the ride and all that stuff? What's not fair?
I didn't do damage to her car, basically, and the person who really owes her money is the guy who towed her car. And
Well, your
damaged it.
original agreement to pay half, you did at one point agree, right?
Okay. Well, I was trying to be a friend, and that's what happens when you try to be a friend sometimes.
You don't want to be a friend anymore?
No more.
All right. All right, so step on in here. What do you think of this outcome here?
I mean, it's unfortunate that it had to happen like this, but I was trying to be nice and help my coworker out, and he kind of, I feel, took advantage of me being nice. It wouldn't have happened if he had dug his car out. And
I know. How did he take advantage exactly?
he said he was going to pay. He made 2 payments, and then he said, well, you don't drive the car anymore, so I don't have to pay you anymore. But I couldn't go back to the body shop and say, I don't have the car anymore, I want my money back.
You glad you gave him a lift?
No, I wouldn't do it again.
Harvey?
So the key here is reliance. Once somebody says, I will do something or I will pay something, and the other person relies on it and takes steps and compromises their rights as a result, sorry, but the person who made the promise is bound. Before the reliance, generally, they're not bound. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Got some good news for your ears. More of that good stuff is coming up. And even better news for your hair. The best hair care is at Sephora. They've got all kinds of products for every kind of hair. From brands like Amika, Kerastase, Day, and K18. You knew where to get great audio. Now, you know where to get great hair care too. Sephora, good news for great hair. Shop hair care now at Sephora.com.
These are the plaintiffs, Cheryl and Aaliyah Martin. Cheryl says her daughter, Aaliyah, was walking her dog one evening when the defendant's two dogs made a beeline for them and went into attack mode. Her poor dog was bitten something awful. Her daughter was also attacked, and the defendants don't have an ounce of couth because they never even apologized to them. They're suing for $199.56 for vet bills and damaged property. These are the defendants, Suzanne Daly and Scott Convery. Suzanne says the dogs got into a yapping contest outside one day, and then 24 hours later, the plaintiffs present them with a vet bill and a bill for a torn sweatshirt. The vet bill wasn't even itemized. She doesn't think the two dogs ever touched one another, and they aren't paying just because the plaintiffs are demanding it. They're accused of letting their dog run loose.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff was walking her dog when one of the defendants' dog viciously attacked her dog, and she didn't even get an apology. But the defendants say the dogs were barking at each other, and that's it. It's a scam. It's the case of Bite Me.
Thank you, Douglas. Cheryl Martin and Aaliyah Martin.
Yes.
You are suing Suzanne Daly and Scott Convery for $199, the amount that you say you are out as a result of their dog escaping from their home. Tell me what happened.
My daughter went to walk the dog because I wasn't able to walk the dog.
Are you the daughter?
Yes.
Okay, what happened?
I was walking my dog, and their dog came running towards us.
From where?
Their house.
Was the dog inside the house or outside the house when it came? It was outside? Okay, and was the dog on a leash?
No.
And what happened?
It was attacking my dog, and it bit my sweater. And I was trying to get the dog off of their dog off of my dog without getting bit. And I was trying to pick up my dog, and then the owner of the dog, he got his dog, and we went back home.
Okay, and did their dog bite your dog?
It was on top of it. I don't know.
Okay. Did your dog have to go to the vet?
Yeah, that night I was downstairs with her, and she started whining and whimpering, which she never does. So the next day I took her to the vet, and they had to give her medicine.
What kind of medicine?
It's on the bill.
Okay,
But
can I see the bill?
Sure.
So you're suing for the amount of the vet bill, the amount for a new leash. Why?
Because the leash that we had was a retractable leash.
Yeah, but you're suing twice for leashes.
Yeah, because when I took her to the vet, the one that we had, it wasn't working. It was a retractable leash. So the one that I got, it wasn't retractable, but I needed something because I usually walk the dog. And so I got that one.
I just go somewhere where they sold a retractable leash. All right, so you want to get paid twice for a leash, and then you're suing for $35 for a new school jacket. What happened to the school jacket?
The dog bit it.
Okay, can I see it? What happened with why is that paint? Is that a painting? What is that?
No, it's a photograph of the dog, just to give you an idea of Zoe, our dog, with the chair next to it to give you a representation of the size.
Okay. Because...
It's not
okay.
a big German Shepherd or a pit bull.
Right, but I mean, it's the little yappy ones you got to watch for. But what happened? Why was the dog loose?
Okay, well, what happened was my husband and my son were in the driveway, and they were changing my son's tire. I was in the house. I heard some barking, so I ran outside, and I yelled down, "I'm so sorry," and I went in the house, and that was the end of my situation with it. Then a few minutes later, our neighbor came down the street, and she came, and Scott was still working on the car, and he came up to her and said, "Is everything okay?" And she said, he said, "I'm sorry, is everything okay?" She said, "Yes, everything's okay, but your dog ripped my daughter's jacket." And he said, "Everything's okay?" She said, "Yes, but I'll take $35 for the jacket." So then he said,
and
"Well..."
what did you say?
Well, I went out to apologize because the dog ran off the property, and my main concern was, did the dog get hurt or did your daughter get hurt? And Cheryl said, "No, everybody's fine." I'm like, "All right, great, that's the most important thing." And then she said, "Well, the jacket got ripped, and I'll take $35. And I was a little just taken back, but I said, "Oh, all right." And I was in the middle of changing a tire on the car in the driveway. My hands were dirty, and I didn't have any cash in my pocket. I said, "I don't have any money with me now." but I'll get you the money, I guess, and, give it to you next time. I went to the bank, I got a money order. 2 days after that, that was on a Tuesday. On a Thursday, we had family come over, and they came in the front door, and in the front door was the vet bill, which I had submitted, and it's page 2 of the vet bill, just showing a total of the vet bill.
Okay, do you have a page 1 to the vet bill?
Yes, you have.
Okay. Okay.
So we got that bill. I tried to call the vet to see, was the dog okay? There's doggy HIPAA laws these days, so the vet couldn't tell me anything about what transpired.
Okay, let me tell you what's not on the bill. What's not on the bill is anything relating to a bite or anything else. Or behavioral change result because of a bite or an attack. The word attack isn't anywhere there. It's like routine little stuff.
No, the first two. One was the medication that she got, and the other one was for the exam.
Rimetal is for pain.
So are small dogs as aggressive as big dogs? What do you think?
I think they are. I definitely think they are.
Why do you think they are?
I think they have more to prove.
More to prove. Okay, I think there's an answer to this. What do you think?
I think so, because I think small dogs are usually easier to get close to people. Like, they usually play with people, but...
Oh, God! Somebody crack the code. Are they as responsible?
Yeah.
As aggressive?
Have you ever seen a Chihuahua? Those things are feisty.
Okay, you know why they're as aggressive? They don't know they're small, right? Going inside the courtroom.
I just wanted to say one thing about the leash. We had, the incident happened on Tuesday. We got the part 2 of the vet bill on Thursday. On Friday, we left town. We went on our honeymoon. We didn't get back till Easter Sunday.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We didn't get back till Easter Sunday. When we get back on Easter Sunday, there was a handwritten note from Cheryl saying, can you please drop off the $164 for the dog bites and scratches caused by your dog, payment for the vet visit, and reimbursement for the jacket your dog bit. I mean, there was no mention of a leash, of nothing. The incident lasted 10
Yeah, there's a reason to get stuff resolved really quickly. You wait any longer and it'll get even bigger. Can you please drop off the $164 due for the dog bites and scratches caused by the dog? So how did you come up with the 160 something? Is it 129.77 plus 35? Yeah. Okay.
And in my conversation with Cheryl, she said that there was no harm done. No one was hurt.
Okay, folks, you know what? Keep your dog inside your yard, okay? And in the meantime, pay the lady $164. If it was good enough for you, right afterwards, it's good enough for me as well. That's my verdict. Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
Well, that big picture of the dog didn't do you much good. So stand right next to it. The picture cost you $50 to have made?
Yes, it did.
Okay, well, you have a nice picture of the dog, but what about the verdict?
I'm not too happy about it because I feel like it's fabricated. She lost her credibility with me when she gave me part 2 of a bill that wasn't itemized. So I feel like it really wasn't a credible...
Well, don't you feel like you're responsible for some of it?
Well, I feel it was a very short incident. The 2 dogs were kind of running around each other. It wasn't like a mauling or anything like that. So I really don't feel like really I was responsible for anything, to be honest.
All right. Well, head right down. Nice picture. All right, so step on in here. You didn't get everything you sued for, but almost. So step up here. You satisfied now?
Yes, I am.
Are you going to still walk your dogs in front of their place?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
Might happen again.
Oh, well, we'll be ready for them.
See you next time.
All right. Take care.
Harvey.
Thank you.
So when a dog bites another dog, you have to prove negligence. Here there was negligence because the dog was loose. When a dog bites a person, in most states, the dog owner is automatically liable.